surprised me to be up here now. So what I'm wanting to do is to ask the Massachusetts State Senator Jamie Eldridge and State Representative Lindsay Sabadosa to join us. If I was really good with names, I tell you, I would just be too much. So thank you so much for coming. I absolutely appreciate it, as we all do. Which order are you guys going to speak?
We're going back and forth.
Oh, you need a mic, sister? Or are you going to go back and forth? There you go.
So good morning. I'm State Senator Jamie Eldridge and proud lead sponsor of an act to establish Medicare for all in Massachusetts.
Hey everybody, my name is Lindsay Sabadosa and I am the state representative from First Hampshire and I am the lead sponsor of the same legislation in the House.
So I became the lead sponsor of Medicare for All in Massachusetts back in 2011, and it was after my first re-election for the state senate in 2010 when knocking on doors for my re-election, met a family who lost their 10-year-old son, Andrew, from leukemia. And after their son passed away, they formed a nonprofit organization to pay the medical bills of one family in America who, due to a medical emergency or tragedy, were facing bankruptcy. And really from that experience, just thinking of how outrageous it is that we live in a country where the single first reason for people falling into bankruptcy is because of medical bills is outrageous, and we needed to change that, and the only way to change that is passing Medicare for all in Massachusetts and this country. So what we have done since then is looking to build the movement in Massachusetts, and I am so proud to be here with Representative Lindsay Sabadosa because together in her first term, we have formed the Medicare for All Caucus in Massachusetts. I think one of the first legislatures to create a Medicare for All caucus in the entire country.
So this caucus is not just a caucus where we invite legislators in to sit around a table and talk, because Senator Eldridge and I believe that organizing happens both inside of the State House and outside of the State House. So the legislators who participate with us are required to do certain things, and that is building the movement outside of the building. So we have been hosting educational sessions around the state. We have been asking not only that they sign on to the legislation, but they get out and they talk to their constituents. We have been out talking to union members and trying to figure out how we make this the best possible legislation that we can on the state level. We have also been seeing ballot initiatives across Massachusetts. And I will tell you, in my district, even my most conservative town passed the ballot measure by 50%, and the most progressive by over 85%. So in Massachusetts, we are ready to go, and we are also very excited to announce that in Massachusetts, the AFL-CIO has decided that they are only backing a presidential candidate that supports Medicare for all. But remember, we need to only support candidates on all levels who support Medicare for all. That's how we movement build.
So it is our pleasure now to introduce and have to come to the stage Richard Master. And I had the chance to meet Richard last night at the beginning of the conference, and just so impressed with his knowledge of the numbers and how that affects our healthcare system, both for consumers but also for businesses, his passion to see this through, and his real commitment to organize from a grassroots perspective. And so to introduce Richard, Richard is the founder and CEO of MCS Industries, North America's leading supplier of picture frames and decorative mirrors, and the founder and chairman of Business for Medicare for All. His interest in healthcare was triggered by the relentless cost increases his company and its employees have experienced annually since 2000. His initial research and investigation led him to form the Unfinished Business Foundation, which led to the production of the films Fix It, Healthcare at the Tipping Point, Big Pharma Market Failure, and Big Money Agenda, Democracy on the Brink. So, Richard, thank you so much for being here. It was an honor to meet you last night. Please come up to the stage.
Thank you very much, Senator. What a great introduction. And it's so wonderful to be back in Portland and in Oregon. You know, we all have a lot of friends in Oregon, and we should say a few words about this state and its leadership. In my mind, Oregon leads the nation in its progressive reform agenda on health care. Yeah. As a state, it runs an advanced, nationally recognized, virtually independent Medicaid delivery system. And we don't like Medicaid so much, and we don't talk about it very much. But Oregon is proving that health care can be delivered at reasonable cost, and that's very important. It's important for my community, particularly businesses and economists and people who approach Medicare for all because it is the most prudent way for us to get out of this crisis, this cost-driven crisis in healthcare. Oregon's leadership on healthcare is made possible by its remarkable grassroots network. Hundreds of participating community organizations and thousands of volunteers up and down the state. This state shows our movies more frequently than my state, Pennsylvania. I come into this community because when I appear in Fix It, and everybody greets me in the airport and at the hotel, and I think I'm a rock star, you know? I just sell picture frames. Hey, thank you, thank you. Oregon activists deserve our thanks for their tireless advocacy on behalf of single payer, and particularly for hosting this year's conference. Thank you very much, Oregon. We are nurses and doctors, representatives from the labor community, community organizers, and we are legislators. And finally, we can see an emergence into this movement of business leaders as well. Something that many of you see as essential as part of the overall winning coalition. All of us are here to share a common goal, the decommercialization of healthcare. Getting this monster of commercialized healthcare sector that is eating the rest of our economy alive. We got to get it under control. Off the backs of hardworking Americans, but also off the backs of American businesses as well. We know that all roads to reforming what in our society we need to work on run through healthcare. We can't address our deteriorating infrastructure, our massive student debt, the environment, and the fact that a middle-class income no longer supports a middle-class lifestyle without first reforming healthcare. Job one. I stand before you as a representative of thousands of businesses who are demanding Medicare for all. They have joined an organization which Wendell Potter, who many of you know, and I founded. It's called Business for Medicare for All. We have 2,000 members now from 49 states, and we're going to 10,000 before the end of next year. If anyone knows a business owner in North Dakota, please tell them to give us a call. I'll fly out there, take them out to dinner. Business leaders, large and small, are recognizing that employer-based insurance no longer protects Americans. It exploits them. At companies like MCS Industries in Easton, Pennsylvania, a family health plan now costs $28,000 a year. That's $14 an hour before MCS pays a penny of actual wages. And even with $14 an hour, there are out-of-pocket expenses on use which act as an economic barrier for hard-working families in our company trying to access it. And I'll tell you a personal experience, which is mundane compared to what other people are experiencing here. But I have a little bit of a heart condition, so I need to have periodic diagnosis and care. And I went to Lehigh Valley Hospital, which is the largest health network in our area, and I got an echocardiogram. But before I went, the hospital sent me a notice. Please be prepared to spend $1,700 for your echocardiogram. And they had the calculations. The sticker price for the echocardiogram was $4,600. The 2 minutes, sorry. All right. The negotiated price from our insurance company was $2,400. Whoop-de-doo. Wow, I couldn't live without the insurance company, right? The insurance company said to the hospital, we're only going to pay $700 of it. And I was expected to pay $1,700. Fortunately, MCS does have secondary insurance which covers the bulk of the deductible, because we know that our employees cannot afford for a simple diagnostic test $1,700 or $200. It's absurd. I go to the hospital and I sit in the waiting room. I go in to a little room with a technician and a little box and a echocardiogram device. 10 minutes later, I'm out the door. 5 minutes after that, the cardiologist comes in and says, you're okay. I've read it in 3 minutes. And that cost $2,400. I called my brother, who's a pulmonary disease doctor, and I said, hey, Ken, how much should this cost? He said, no more than $300. And in most countries, it's somewhere between $150 and $250. So this is what we're dealing with. Runaway costs, no really marketplace dynamics within healthcare. They can pick any price that they want and cram it down our throats. And it's time for us to respond. In the United States, the sad reality is that companies are scaling down or altogether ending health insurance coverage for their workers. They say they can't afford it. Only 50% of employers now offer coverage, down from 67% a decade ago. The employer-based system is failing fast, but as scary as that is, it's an opening for our movement. It's what we've been waiting for. The system is devolving, clearly. A majority of small business owners now support Medicare for All. So do a majority of workers who receive their health insurance through work. They now know what we know. You can't count on corporate insurers to be there when you need them. Insurance companies provide no real value to American businesses. They are gluttonous middlemen. Business for Medicare for All stands with all of you on the front lines of the fight for guaranteed health care for all Americans. Today at 11 and then again at 1 o'clock, we're holding two breakout sessions. If you want breakfast, we'll figure out how to comply. Two breakout sessions to present how to recruit businesses in your locale to join our coalition. We have red postcards out the back that refer you to businessformedicare.org and also provide some instructions on how to contact us and help us get to our 10,000, which we think is critical mass for our movement. Together, we'll grow to 10,000. We will have at least one business leader in every congressional district over the next year. We will become a key partner to all of you, and we will help you win our shared fight for Medicare for all. Thanks. Onward to victory in 2021. Thank you very much.